Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, where we get to things that we didn't get to during the show. I've got a story, and Gavin's got one. I'm interested in his, so I'm going to start with mine, since I already know all the details. TikTok is great for wasting time.
Yes.
You watch these videos, and there's a lot of them that are hilarious. And so, anyways, we have all been... Well, me and Gavin and Wally have been victimized by TikTok.
Yeah, we are victims. Let's go with that narrative.
But I'm going to say, too, that it is terrible for the younger crowd in that it encourages them to do some really stupid stuff because it's trending.
Yeah.
And it could have lifetime ramifications, okay?
Which I will say, I think that as a society, we've always been drawn to doing silly stuff because I'm thinking back to, like, there was the whole Tide Pod challenge.
Yeah.
And that was before TikTok.
It was?
It was.
Okay.
But now it just seems like you can find the new Tide Pod challenge every single week.
Right. Well, the new one is using the hashtag dropping things on my foot. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Why did we decide that was going to be?
I have no idea.
It's so weird.
But people who are using this hashtag have dropped vacuum cleaners on their foot.
Goodness.
Glass jugs, a wooden table. Have you seen any of these?
Oh, yeah. They're awful. And like you can start small too. Like even yesterday I was doing the dishes and a knife fell on my foot. And like that just hit the right way that I was, with
the blade down?
No, good point. The blunt side.
Oh, okay. Like,
yeah, you're
it hurt. I'm not sure why.
We're talking heavy items, not sharp ones.
Got it. Okay. So yeah, the point of this is when the person makes a video dropping things on their foot, they have to rank how painful each one is.
It's so interesting.
Now, this is what I find sad about it. There's a guy named Luke Pilling. He's 19 years old, and he put up a video with the hashtag dropping things on my foot. He dropped a toaster, an air fryer, and a computer monitor on his foot at separate times, and he got 3.8 million views.
That's crazy.
That's a lot. Now, when he sees that, that's dopamine kick. Like, people are paying attention to me. They're looking at my page. And then, two, on top of that, if you get that many views, TikTok will start paying you. Yeah. Okay. So this entices him to go even further.
Yeah, like what else can I drop on my foot?
Exactly. So he did another video, and this time he dropped an electric drill on his foot. You know how heavy those are?
That's a lot of weight.
Well, it got to the point where I guess it started getting views, and TikTok saw it, and then they removed it because it's encouraging stupid behavior where you could break a toe or a foot or for a lifetime of pain. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, it's almost like making light of, or like it's almost like comedic self-harm, which is not necessarily a good thing.
Wally loves those kind of videos where people get hurt, and this is the type of entertainment he's looking for. When they asked Luke Pilling, the 19-year-old, why he feels compelled to do these videos, he said, I'm just curious and it looks funny. You're 19, sir.
I mean, that's just a guy right there. Honestly, I kind of get it at the same time.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, even just thinking about it.
Would you do it?
I'm mentally, I'm like, okay, what in this building could I drop on my foot? But partially, just for me, that's not going to destroy me.
Yeah.
But that might be fun. Like, because even in my brain, because we do serve social media through our job. So even in my head, I'm like, maybe we should film a foot dropping episode. I really don't want to.
What if we did light things?
We could.
That'd be funny. Like an empty water bottle.
Yeah.
Just a pair of glasses. Oh, gosh.
No.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyways, what's yours?
Okay. So I have this kind of long article about self-care and about how nowadays they took 2025 versus 2020, and it says that more Americans are practicing self-care today than they did 5 years ago. So we're talking pre-pandemic, and we're relatively far removed at this point from the pandemic.
Yeah, I feel like, too, this is a topic that has gotten more traction, self-care. Like you're seeing it all the time on TV, on the radio, on social media, and it's kind of like things were opened with anxiety and depression, like people's mental state, because people started talking about it. So then people are more aware. I feel like that's kind of the same with this whole self-care situation, where people are aware, oh yeah, should deserve some self-care time.
Yeah.
So, but that looks different for everyone.
Exactly. The next part of this was saying, like, how are Americans practicing self-care? So the number one...
Wait. Oh, how do you practice self-care?
That's what I was going to say. So if I'm going to do self-care, like today, I'm going to go home and try and be home for just a couple hours before my son, or before my wife brings my son home. So I go home and I view that as, that's my self-care time. And so I have a YouTube video that I've been wanting to, it's like an hour and a half long. I've been wanting to watch that, and I'm just going to go home. I'm going to make like some fun food for me that I don't have to share or get worried that like a dog or a baby's going to grab. And I'm just going to watch TV. So I would say it's either that or going golfing. So it's either, it's one sit down and one kind of out there.
Yeah, that would definitely not be mine.
No. So what is yours?
Mine would be putting together a puzzle, reading a book, rotting on the couch.
Oh, amen.
Seeing like a friend or parent, but definitely not work related. And I bring that up because Wally and I talked about this one time. I told him, I said, because he can't sit still. He likes to constantly move. He loves woodworking. I think that's a self-care thing for him.
It's one of the creative hobby is like one of the smaller categories.
And two, I think work when it comes to creativity is an outlet for him as a self-care situation. And so for all three of us, it looks different.
It is kind of like what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And they're just like, there's
no right or wrong answer.
No, there's not. And as long as you are, in essence, because I think the notion is to take care of yourself so that you're able to be your best self in others, like be your best self at work, be my best self whenever my son does it is a recharging thing. So I did like the next little category that they had after that. They said it says practicing self-care often goes hand in hand with splurging, which is in my mind, like, I think that's funny. So they mention some of the categories that we splurge on when it's self-care, because I personally, and it's a problem because it's my wife's thing too. Like, we do like to go shopping. So like we like to go to the mall and just be like, oh, let's go see what we find. So they said that the things that we most often splurge on are luxury designer product.
Oh, okay.
That's a lot. Physical pampering. So we're talking like the salon, spa. Like my wife loves
getting your nails done.
Getting her nails done.
Yeah.
They said expensive meal. That would probably be my one. Is if I
food.
Splurging for me is doing DoorDash, and I've DoorDashed food from like maybe a minute down my house. When that's pre-child days when I was rolling in the dough apparently.
Now not so much anymore.
No, now I'm meal prep and game plan, and I've tasted baby food just because I need a couple bites of food. So and he doesn't finish it, and I want it's avocado, raspberry, and apple. It's good.
Ugh. Well,
it's not the worst thing.
I mean, it could be worse.
Could be worse.
Have you ever tried the green beans?
Oh no, I will never try.
Don't.
Every time we feed him green stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't
take it
like
up with
this.
the Lord.
Like,
I don't know what
like
to tell you, kid.
If I'm feeding you this and I don't like it, that feels wrong. But also, I'm in control, and I can't wait to say because I said so. Like, that's something that I've never got.
It won't work well.
I'm never gonna get to use it in a work setting.
No.
With you guys.
No.
Unless I'd be so genuinely scared to try that. Because I'm the bottom of the totem pole. In a way that I love.
Sure.
That's all I've got.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We've got some birthdays to go through. I've got two of them. We've got Rebecca, who wants to wish her friend Sawyer a happy birthday.
I love the name Sawyer.
It is a good name. Said he loves airsoft and skiing and war movies.
Ooh, this guy sounds awesome.
All right. And then Madison and Braden want to wish Milo a happy birthday. Madison is Milo's mom, and Braden is Milo's older brother.
Okay.
Got it. Milo, happy birthday. You're named after the best sweet tea there is in the grocery store. Milo's sweet tea. Milo is in the 9th grade, and he's the second of 4 kids. Woo. He's the family goofball, has the biggest heart, and is always competitive. He's not a potty like us, but we try to convert him all the time.
I mean, yeah, freshman year.
Come on, Milo.
You'll get there someday, Milo.
Okay, this is the question from Rebecca.
Okay.
I've had a minute to think about this, and I have my answer. I want to see if you have yours. Okay. What restaurant has the worst tasting water?
Oh, wow. I can get really, really specific on this, and it's not going to be a generic fast food one. But there's a burger place in Shreveport, Louisiana, and Shreveport which is where my wife is from, and it is the town is well known for having like terrible water. Like when you pour just tap water, like it's murky. It tastes dirty. And I don't know if there's just no solution down there, or if it's a terrible infrastructure thing, but it's bad. So
anywhere you go.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And so you can go to just about any public, like you just don't get water out, which is a bummer for healthier people.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't get water out there. And I don't get water at most restaurants these days. Either way.
I either do water or sweet tea, depending on if I feel like paying the $3 extra. But I would say the restaurant that has the worst tasting water for me is Chili's.
Oh, really?
To me,
what is it?
It tastes like they went out in the back and took it out of the hose.
Ew.
Yeah, like it tastes like hose water, which is, I'm fine with hose water if I'm drinking out of a hose. But if I'm sitting down at a restaurant and I expect the water to taste a little bit more like clean.
Hose water's for like when you're 13 and you've played outside all day and your friends are just out there and it's like, man, I need something.
Right.
It's 98 degrees out. I need some water. The hose will do.
Now, when it comes to bottled water,
Dasani.
Dasani. Interesting. I wasn't going to say Dasani. I was going to say Aquafina.
Okay, sure.
Terrible. It tastes like it can't get cold. Or it tastes like... It does. It tastes like even if it is cold temperature-wise, it tastes like room temperature water.
Really? That's super interesting. Dasani for me tastes like I am like drinking secondhand from somebody else. Like they've mommy birded it to me. is how I think of that's how I think of Dasani.
Well, now I'll never get Dasani again, and I'll never get Aquafina.
It's almost confusing to me that not all water just is water.
Right?
To me, like why do we need a bunch of different? And I even see people who, like, again, we're going back to like luxury items that people spend money on. One of my favorite things on TikTok right now, for again no good reason, is just like guys who like start their day off by like pushing their face into ice cold water. It's just like a wake up, like taking an ice bath or cold shower. It's not fun. But they just do it, and these are, for whatever reason, these are like high end fitness coach guys who just have a ton of money, and these guys they'll crack open these like expensive looking like glass bottled water. They're like, this is my preferred water for. I'm like, why?
Oh my word.
Again, we just got done with our preferences on water,
right?
But we're just talking about the ones that are bad. I don't need my water to have come from a stream from heaven, right? That I spent $10 on.
That's crazy. Yeah, I have a friend of mine that she actually got is it called reverse osmosis or something?
Sure, yeah.
Water pitcher. I don't really understand how it works, but she also goes to my witch doctor. Oh. Which is not a witch doctor. She's a holistic doctor.
Who you did see yesterday?
I did see yesterday, yes, and she told me that I need to stay away from sugar and eating bad foods.
What she says every time.
I know. But anyways, the reverse osmosis is something that my holistic doctor told my friend she needed to look into. And she swears by it, my friend. She was like, I see the difference. It has made a huge difference in my life. I don't know.
It just removes contaminants from water. So...
But doesn't a filter do that too?
Yeah, I'm like, just get a Brita filter. Which, again, I'm not smart enough to actually make great recommendations. I know that when it comes to water, the research that I have done is that you do want water that does contain like some minerals out there. Like it is, our bodies do need stuff like magnesium and sodium in proper, amounts. Just don't go down, handfuls of salt, but like your body does need minerals. And there are some waters out there that are just like, they're purified and they don't have those minerals that our bodies do need. So again, at the end of the day though, hydration probably is just as effective through the hose as it is through.
I mean, look, kids from the 40s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, like they all did it and they didn't die.
Yeah.
But then again, the longer we're on this planet, the more are we being toxic?
Yeah. 100%.
I don't know. I don't know.
I think we're too smart for our own good to an extent. I think we've been here too long. Not too long. I want to stay on this earth for a lot longer, but I think we've learned almost too much to the point where that we have 25 plus different brands of water to drink. But this whole reverse osmosis, if it works for her,
yeah.
Good.
I don't have the money for it. I'm going to stick with my watered filter water Brita thingamajigger.
Yeah, I like the one that we have here at work. I don't even know what it is. Just
I don't know too.
Just a tub or a
tub?
A filter.
Get water out of it.
I don't know. I drink out of the sink at home. I'm not
fine. It's fine. All right, potties. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. We will talk to you then. Until then, bye. Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.